does that even mean, Bowers game corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review. Today I'm very excited to check out Witless Wizards from Draw Lab Entertainment. This is for 2 to 4 players. Take about 15 to 20 minutes to play, and it's for ages 14 plus. I'm going to nix that and say about ages 9 plus. I think that's just a choking hazard thing. But in Witless Wizards, you're going to be taking control of a wizard, and then you're going to be equipping cards into your slots, and then having to give other people cards that are going to make you more powerful, either on attack or defense, or rings, which are like a specialty thing. They're going to let you do something different and out there that nobody else is going to have the special abilities. Don't get too attached to your special abilities, though, because they're rapidly going to be going in and off of your board. On and off of your board. It's a very light, simple dueling game, but is it good? Let's open it up, and I'll tell you what I think. Alrighty then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Witless Wizards. So first and foremost, we have our handy-dandy rule booklet. It is 7 pages, double-sided, full color with pictures, illustrations, examples, and overall, it's pretty well done. It should have you up and running pretty smoothly. I will say I think there could be a little laid out just a smidge bit better, but overall, nothing really to complain about with the rule booklet. Well done. So in Witless Wizards, what you're trying to do is you're trying to destroy everyone else at the table by knocking their health out. When you get knocked out, then you are eliminated from the game, and you keep going until there's only one person left. You're going to do that by acquiring cards. So let's go over the components, then we'll get into the gameplay. So first, component-wise, you're going to set up the game by taking 3 of the different types of cards, and they'll have different symbols in the top left-hand corner, and mixing them all together like so. I believe the base game comes with 5 different kinds of cards, like Vikings and Pirates and Druids and different stuff like that. And then there's also these mini pack expansions, which I'll be doing separate reviews on, which will add, so this is the Druid and the Viking expansion, which will add different ones you could add in. And each of the different types of cards do have their own unique flavor and distinctive cards in there, which I like a good deal. So next, you're going to have FAQ cards, and I like how they didn't put this in the rules. I like how they actually put it on the physical cards for very specific cards, so you know what it means and how it works. So I did like how they did that as well. All the rest of the cards that you're not putting into the game, you can take it away and put them into the box. Now, there's also some cards that you might start off with. They're very, very weak cards. Magical Robe of Resting and the Magical Crook of Standing. This is going to add 2 damage, and this is going to add 1 defense. And then also, you notice over here, there's a green symbol. Those are green gems that you're going to earn after your turn has been over. But depending on your player count and where you're seated, you are going to get 1 or both of these. And the double-sided ones leave the game once they have left your area down here. So now let's take a look at your area. Everybody's going to start with 20 health. You're going to have this little token of tracker. And then everyone's generally going to start with 1 of these, but it does depend on the player count. And these can be used to either heal yourself if you ever get down to the weakness. So if you have a whole bunch of these, it can bring you back to life, so you can heal yourself. Or you can use those to draw more cards. But let's do that a little bit later. Let's just get into the meat and potatoes and show you how it works. And this is how your round overview is going to work. And it actually is super duper helpful. I believe there's only 1 of these, though, which is kind of annoying. Maybe there's 2. No, I think there's only 1, but you can put it between you guys, whatever. So on your turn, first thing you're going to do is you're going to draw 1 card like so. And then you're going to decide if you would like to keep this card for yourself and put it into this slot, knocking out any cards that were in that slot, or give it to your opponent. And it's very simple. You're either going to keep it or give it to your opponent. So for this one, let's see. It's going, you have to spend these in order to bump up your defense, which can be very good. But you know what? I don't want it, so I would just give it to my opponent, and I would put it into their blue slot. So let's get another board set up, and we'll put it like this for some weird reason. So we'd actually put it into their slot, which means the next card we draw, because then either keep the card or give it to an opponent, the next card we draw is going to be a card that we have to keep for ourselves. So let's see. Oh, it's the official Wizard Robe. It only does 1 defense, but it does give us 2 of those every turn. But you know what? I'm not happy with this card. So what I can do is I can spend 1 of my green gems, and I can draw another card, and then decide between these 2 cards. So I'll get this Fragile Staff, which is going to deal 2 damage, and then I can discard it to increase the value to 6. So I'm actually going to put that there, and then this goes into the discard pile like so. Last thing you're going to do is you're going to attack. So how you attack is, you say, all right, you declare who you're going to be attacking. So this, obviously, I'm playing a 2-player game, so I'm just attacking this person over here. I roll this dice, and I do 2 damage plus 2 damage. So right now I am sending 4 damage this person's way, and then if I wanted to discard this card, it could get bumped up to 6. Now also, a lot of the times your ring will bump up your damage, so you got to make sure that you're paying attention to what's going on in your cards at all times. But you know what, for this one, I'm just going to deal 4 damage. This person doesn't block anything naturally, but if they wanted to spend a green, they could bump it up to 2, but most likely they would just take the 4 points of damage and they would just, boop, go down 4 on their health track. And then I collect income, which collect green gems based on how many green gem symbols I have. There's none on this card, so my turn would be over, and then it would go to the next player's turn. So let's go through their turn as well. So they draw the top card. Deal hits equal to attackers. Ooh. If you reduce your stamina by 1. So this one, deal hits equal to attackers blank if you reduce your stamina by 1. So if you're willing to take a hit down here, then you can actually deal this amount of damage to someone who's attacking you. So you can do like a counter attack. And you know what? I actually like it way better than this one. So I'm going to discard this one. And now that would go in this player's slot. Then the next card they would have to give to me. They're really hoping it's a weapon, but it's not. +4 if you reduce them by 2, discard this card after use. Ooh. So they would give that to me. That's bear strength. And then they're going to attack me. Now, since they don't have a sword, that's a big bummer for them, but they still got to roll the dice. They would be dealing 3 damage my way. I have nothing to block it, so I would just take the 3 damage. So, 1, 2, 3. And then they would get 1 green gem because they have that right there. So then it gets back to me, and I'm really going to be able to unleash some pain right now. Draw the first card. Discard to deny any card given to you by either you or your opponent. So I'll give that to him. And then I'm hoping this is blue. I'm really hoping this is blue. Be blue, 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 blue. It's not blue, but I have to take it. You know, for this example, we're going to pretend like we have one more green gem. We're going to draw another card. Yes, because I want to show you something cool. So I'll put that there. And now I'm ready to unleash the pain because I have 2 very awesome cards right now if I'm willing to do it. So the first thing I'm going to do, roll the dice. I'm dealing 3 damage +2, so I'm dealing 5 damage. I'm going to discard this, which gets me up to 11 damage. And then I'm going to discard this, reduce my stamina by 2, and that puts me up to 15 damage. So now at this point, this person's really hurting. They do deal 3 damage back to me if they reduce their stamina, which most likely they would do. But I'm still going to hit them for 11 damage, which is a huge chunk of their damage. But anywho, you're going to continue going back and forth until one person is left standing, at which point they will be the winner of Witless Wizards. And don't forget, you can use these to heal yourself up once you get down into the red spot down there. But that, in a nutshell, is how you're going to play it. Alrighty then, Witless Wizards from Draw Lab Entertainment. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, game's not going to be for everybody for a variety of different reasons. 2 to 4 players, restricted player count. And I will say I like it best at 2 and 3 players. You have a lot more control. Also, at 4 players, the game stretches out a little bit longer than you might want it to be. It says about 15 to 20 minutes, and once you get to 4 players, it's probably not going to hit the 15 to 20 minute mark. It's going to go a little bit longer than that. And this game does not have enough meat on it to make it a really long game. If you're playing a 40-minute game of this, you're probably going to get a little bit tired of it. And that can happen. I did see that with a 4-player game, especially if people have cards that let them accumulate gems, because those cards can be very powerful, because that's also health that you'll be able to utilize. But that's more of a minor thing, honestly. Another con that I have with this game, and this is a your mileage may vary con, there's 5 factions included with the game. You're only going to use 3 each game, and some people are going to think 5 is enough. Some people are going to think 5 is not enough. You can get more. They already have more than you can get, but that is something that I did want to mention. You have to purchase those separately. Another con that I have with this game is there's a lot of luck in this game, depending on how you roll the dice, but more importantly, which cards you draw and when you draw those cards. That is a good deal of luck. Like if you're drawing a card and you have to keep it for yourself and you don't have any green gems and it turns out to be a really, really weak weapon, that's a pretty big bummer for you. I mean, that's just unfortunate, especially if it's replacing a really powerful weapon. But I do actually like that aspect of the game, which I'll tell you more in the pros, but that is something that some people are not going to like, especially if you're playing this as a family game. And that's another thing you need to know. It says ages 14 plus on the box. Ignore that. I played this with, I think, an 8-year-old. 8, 9, and 10-year-olds, they really enjoy the game, as I'm going to tell you in the pros, but you got to make sure that they're reading all the cards in front of them, because there is a good deal of text on these cards, and sometimes cards will synergize, so you need to know the cards in front of you, and those cards are going to be going in and out, which one of the kids didn't really like, because you'll get like a super awesome weapon. So let's say someone has to hand you a super awesome weapon. you might never get a chance to use that weapon, because if your turn's not next and someone else takes their turn and they decide to give you a crummy weapon that they drew, which is something they should be doing, that's unfortunate. And I did have an incident where a kid was like, "Oh, you took away my super awesome weapon." And I was like, "Yeah, that's what I'm supposed to do. That's how the game works." But you do need to know that. Don't get too attached to anything you have in your slots down there. Any other cons that I have with the game? No, not really. I mean, moving on to the pros, you have to know it's light. You have to know it's simple. You have to know it's 2 to 4 players. But I really enjoyed Witless Wizards. The kids in my class really, really liked Witless Wizards. Like, they were just all about this. They wanted to play it over and over again. They wanted to try the different factions and see all the different special abilities and stuff like that. And I played it on game night as well, and it went over very well, but you do have to know that it is a lightweight filler-style game. But as long as you know that, I can definitely give a recommendation for Witless Wizards. I liked it an awful lot, and I will be keeping it in my classroom, on my classroom shelf. So what do I like about the game? First and foremost, it's a very straightforward game. It's easy to learn. It's easy to teach. What do you do on your turn? You're going to draw a card. You're going to look at that card. You're going to say, do I want this card for myself, or do I want to give it to somebody else? You're going to do that, and then you're going to draw another card. And if you gave the card away, then you have to keep the new card. And if you kept the old card, then you have to give away the new card. It's as simple as that. Oh, and then you have the gems. I like how the gems work a lot because they are dual-use gems. You can use this to heal yourself up, or if you really want a different card for one reason or another, you can use it for there. You can only do that one time, though, which I will say is a rule that we missed the first time we played, but that does change things up because, you know, it ups the tension a little bit. I really like the fact how some cards are very, very good and some cards are not very good, because that makes the drafting phase even more interesting. Like, if everything was pretty evenly balanced card-wise, it wouldn't be that high risk and high reward. But if you give away your first card and you're like, all right, I have to keep the second card, and you draw something really bad, it's like, oh, I screwed myself over. And I do like that. And it causes you to really manage your gems. But I will say I do think for the most part the cards are decently balanced when you take into consideration the fact that they have currency as well, because some of the cards will generate you green gems. But in the end, I enjoyed Witless Wizards. Easy to learn, easy to teach, well done rule booklet. The components, while nothing to write home about, were perfectly serviceable and they served their purpose. I like the different variety of cards. I like the different factions and how each of the different factions plays differently. I like the fact that some of the cards will synergize with each other. It's like, oh, I can get this card and this card that's going to give me an extra bonus thing. I like how there's some cards you discard. I just like the variety of cards in the game. I have not reviewed the expansion packs yet, but I'll tell you right now, they sent me 2 of them. I absolutely recommend checking those out if you enjoyed the game, because they just add more variability. In particular, I like the Druids a lot, but they give you some different play styles if you can get those different cards. And in the end, Witless Wizards, really enjoyed it. I think it's a very good game. Kids that I played it with would argue that it is a great game. They absolutely loved it, beating the snot out of each other in a very simple way. So Witless Wizards from Draw Lab Entertainment, one that I can recommend if you're in the market for a for a family game or a lightweight filler game that goes 2 to 4 players. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below in the show notes down below. If you want to support the channel, click on that little Amazon link. Buy anything on Amazon. It throws a couple pennies my way. It really does help out the channel. And in the comments below, let me know who is your favorite wizard of all time from any TV show, movie, book, or I don't know where else you'd see wizards. I guess, yeah, TV show, wizards, and books. I think that pretty much covers them all. For me personally, I'll go with Gandalf, but more specifically, Gandalf the White. White Gandalf. Gray Gandalf went a little bit off the deep end after, the whole Balrog incident, but Gandalf the White is my personal favorite wizard of all time. But let me know in the comments below, who is your favorite wizard of all time? And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.